Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, y'all. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones, and man, do we have a great show for you guys. Once again, today on A Glitch in the Matrix, I have my good buddy, Bigfoot Dwarf, here in the studio with us today, and I could not be more excited to have him back here on the channel, and we are going to be talking about UFOs and alien TV interruptions, fireballs, and whatever else is going on in this world today. Just this week, just not even 4 or 5 days ago, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina had the privilege of seeing a meteorite falling from the sky. And it actually, part of it landed on a gentleman's house. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But of course, there had to be some breaking news over on TikTok, my trusted news source. Where people were claiming that the Anunnaki had interrupted their TV shows and stations and their internet, and were transmitting a message to them. And I got to say, there was some very strange digital glitches and interruptions for sure on our TVs. My mother was actually telling me about it happening to her late at night the other evening. And so was it the Anunnaki sending us a message to humanity? Maybe. Who knows? We're going to get into it today. And I've got all the tea, y'all. We got all the tea. It's hot. It's hot. Just like those meteorites falling from the sky. Could it be boom? Oh, and I forgot to mention this. There were sonic booms that were going on all over Atlanta, and people have videotaped them. Videotaped. It's like what, VHS, okay? But they had videoed them, uploaded them to TikTok. And so there's a lot of speculation about what that is. And of course, there are people who say it's Anunnaki and their galactic war up there raining down on us little humans down here. So, man, this is going to be a fun one today. So you guys, go grab the popcorn, go get your drink, something cold because it's hot outside today, and come back here within about 1 minute. I'm about to bring Brown Dwarf up. If you guys would like to follow along with all my archives and my shows and everything, please go over to my website. That's thecryptidhuntress.com. You can find my social media links there and links to my shop, my Patreon, all that kind of stuff. It's all there at thecryptidhuntress.com. And I want to thank you guys so much for all your support. Y'all are the best. I've got a big old bag of stuff I'm about to send out to all my Patreon members today. And so if you are a VIP member of my Patreon, you too will get a gift. If I don't have your address, please send it to me. Okay. thecryptidhuntress@gmail.com, or just send it through Patreon. So I can send you your monthly gifts. Okay. Also, I will be at the Full Disclosure Now conference. Y'all come and see me down in Florida. It's July 15th through the 18th. I'm speaking on the 18th, the very last day. I'm the finale. I'm one of the finales at the conference that day. I think I'll be there in the morning speaking. So it's going to be really fun. I'll have it tan by then, I hope. But we'll see. Who knows? I'll probably look like a burnt sausage, actually, by the time I get to speak. But that's my discount code right there. If you guys want to get tickets, please use the discount code. It'll help everybody out. Okay. If you guys want to get one of those discounts, who doesn't love a discount? Shoot. There's times where I only like to buy things that are on sale, depending upon where I'm at. Okay. Because I'm just like that. Okay, y'all. Let's get to our show, shall we? Because I have my buddy Bigfoot Dwarf here today. And let me go over what we're going to be speaking on today. Today, we're going to discuss the recent reports on TikTok, but it's not just TikTok, y'all, of people in Georgia and South Carolina who claim their televisions were taken over by a message from the Anunnaki warning about chaos and extreme weather and their galactic war, which is currently going on at this moment. Shortly after, fireballs fireball, lit up the skies across 2 states, actually 3 states. And we're going to get into that today. This is not the first time that ETs have allegedly, ancient aliens, ETs have allegedly taken over and interrupted a TV broadcast. It also happened back in 1977 in southern England. The Southern television broadcast Interruption happened, I think that was in November of 1977, where a voice from space subjected thousands of viewers to a 6-minute message from an entity referring to itself as Vrillon of the Ashtar Galactic Command. Many believed it to be a hoax, and if you look online, it's been disproven as a hoax, but it really hasn't. Okay, nobody ever fessed up to it. And let me tell you, it's probably a little hard to run interference back then in 1977. It wasn't impossible, but it was probably a little bit harder than it would be today to take over a network. And there's even more to all this, y'all. It even goes to emergency broadcasting systems and things like that we'll talk about as well today. And of course, I have my good buddy who's always got his eyes to the skies, Mr. Bigfoot Dwarf. He was born in Hollywood, California, and he resides in Humboldt County. Actually, he lives in LA right now, I think. California, as well as Southern Oregon. Oh, Humboldt County is in California. Okay. See, I live in Georgia. I'm sorry, BD. But he's always been fascinated with the mysteries of life, and as a youth, he began having UFO sightings, which continue to this day. Living in Bigfoot country expanded his reality to the phenomenon of the Sasquatch people, and he's had several sightings and many experiences with them. And he documents his journey and all of his experiences over on his YouTube channel. It's Bigfoot Dwarf. You can also find it as Brown Dwarf 4200, I believe. Please help me welcome to the show our good friend, Mr. Bigfoot Dwarf.
Happy rising, Jessica, and everybody out there in chat and YouTube world land, out in those YouTube streets. What's up?
Oh my gosh. What's up, BD? Grand rising. It's early over there where you are. It's early where I am.
Yeah, it's about 10 here, and I'm in the backup studio. I had the other studio set up to go on, the laptop, headphones, and everything, the whole nine. And we had to resort to the phone. There was a few little hiccups I had to deal with, and but we're still on and rolling here. So yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be on, and let's get into it.
Shoot, yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm so excited because I know you got to work really early today, so you could be here, and I appreciate it. You always, like I said in the intro, you have your eyes to the skies always, and you have. I mean, for the past year, you were putting out videos almost daily of orbs over Los Angeles and things like that. And
yeah,
I mean, we haven't caught up in a while. I haven't talked to you in a while.
You know what? All that's really calmed down. The past few interviews, I think I've also mentioned, it's really toned down, and you can see the videos have kind of slowed down as well. There's still activity if you do your CE5 or CE420, I like to call it. You could get activity like that still, but it was a weird rash like a couple years back, and it was like 2 years or so where this activity was happening here outside of our shop here in East Los Angeles, and it was just almost daily. And again, it's sort of really stopped almost, and it's like, all right, so what's up? What was up with that time, and what's going on now? I'm starting to really question things. But things are still strange and crazy as ever out here in Los Angeles. And I heard you mention in the bio there, Humboldt County, and we're gonna be up that way real soon. So we're heading back home up that way just to check in on a few things, check in on our local Bigfoots and other stuff that we have to catch up on up that way. So stay tuned, folks. And I mean really soon. So God willing, everything's going to go according to plan, and I'm excited, and I got some surprises coming up. So check it out. Yeah.
Oh man, well you're originally a boots on the ground Bigfoot investigator and researcher, and just like me, I mean, I know you've always been interested in UFOs and seen them as well, but it's kind of like it kind of goes hand in hand in my case. You know what I mean? I started seeing. Well, I was watching for UFOs when I was a little kid. Okay, I lived out in the country on a farm. I could see the sky really well back then, nice. All the stars and stuff. And but I'm seeing, you know, when we're out in the field doing our Bigfoot stuff, we're having UFOs flying over us and stuff. So it's not uncommon.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some sort of connection there. You know, people will go far out and say that they are, you know, the ones in the UFOs and certain UFOs and stuff like that. I haven't gotten there yet, but I do see the correlations with strange lights and these beings. And so, yeah, I don't count that out at all. You know, I actually factor it in. And yeah, it's in my notes all the time, and I'm always keeping an eye out for other strange happenings when we're out looking for Sasquatch evidence or you know anything having to do with them. Um, but yeah, no, I'm super excited. I've been, you know, kind of in the city a whole lot these past few years, and I've gotten to get out a little bit here and there and get into some of these local mountains and had some things happen there. And but yeah, no, you know, the redwoods is where my heart is, and where I'm pretty much based out of. So I'm super excited to head on back up. It's been about almost well, a little less than a year, because we went up twice yesterday last year from Los Angeles. Felt like yesterday. Um, and I can't believe we're doing it again. But yeah, we got to go up twice last year, which was a treat. And here we are about to do it again. And there's some festivities also going on, Bigfoot related. There is a local festival in Willow Creek that
Oh,
if anyone's in the area, come check it out. It's a good time, food, music, and all that. And then you got the Bigfoot Museum right there, right near the festivities. And then you got Bluff Creek, which is not too far away from there as well, and it's all Bigfoot country up there. So you could just enjoy the festivities and then go for a little search and see what happens.
oh man, I wish I could come up there for that. That sounds so
Yeah, well, maybe
amazing.
next year or one of
Yeah.
these years. You know, it's been going on. I think this is the 63rd annual, if I'm not mistaken. Sounds
Darn.
a little bit like a long time, but I could be wrong. It might be a little less, but I thought they mentioned something like that. And I'm like, whoa. I think it probably started soon after the whole Patterson Gimlin situation happened. You know, that's when Bigfoot really. That's when the name Bigfoot came out from out of that
Mhm.
area, and also just a bunch of Bigfoot stuff. You know, all that hot streak that they had up that way. And things seem to be warming up again. I actually got a report from the Bigfoot Mapping Project. I've been checking that out lately and seeing all the reports. There's a few reports out of Georgia that we touched on recently. So I don't
Mhm.
know if you heard that. I'll send that over to
Yeah.
you. I'm sure
Oh
you'd be
yeah.
interested in that. But there was one out of Southern Humboldt recently, this weekend actually. Someone submitted it, and it's right around this area where there's a streak of sightings that I've touched on before, and it's right where our farm was, and that's where I had my first sighting. So right down the hill from where I had my first sighting and had activity in the orbs,
Oh.
that particular land is where these sightings are happening and where that recent sighting got submitted. So since I'm heading up that way, I'm gonna make it a thing and make a pit, try and find this location, make a pit stop. It is a road cross sighting, so it's right off the road, and maybe touch on all the other cases that have been reported from up that way and do a little documenting and maybe show people the area and see what we find up there. We usually do find things.
Oh yeah, man. There's a lot of reports of Bigfoot's crossing the road. That should be the new joke, the new dad joke out there. Why the Bigfoot cross the road? You know, instead of the
Yeah, no,
chicken. Lots
get
of
your dash
them.
cam, folks.
Yeah. Oh yes. You know what? That's what I. One thing that I really regretted, and I saw you put that in the chat that night that I was talking about that those weird creatures I saw on the side of the road in Alabama.
Oh yeah.
I do believe they were probably dogmen, but I was so
Mhm.
confused as to what I was looking at. I'm still confused, but I've come to terms with the fact they were probably dogmen, probably. But I saw you were like no dash cam, and I was like, damn
Yeah,
it, yes,
well,
you're right. I had no
yeah.
dash cam.
Yeah, no, and I have one, and I don't even have it hooked up, and a lot of the times it's kind of weird. It's a cheap one, but yeah, no, it's even, I got a GoPro. I could set that up, and yeah, there's little things that I got to get myself uh aligned with so I could, be ready for when that happens. Because even my second sighting was a road cross sighting also, and it's like, darn, that's when I really kicked myself about getting a dash cam. And you never know what you might capture. You might capture some cool wildlife. And then there's also the possibility of some other stuff that you might capture that you may not want to have on video. So
Yeah.
just a heads up there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, in today's world, there's a lot of insurance scammers and stuff out there too. So, I mean, just to have it for that, okay, is a good idea. But if you're out in the woods like Bigfoot Dwarf and I are, y'all get a dash cam. I'm on the market to buy a good one right now. And I guess my phone hears me talk about it because every time I open up social media, I get dash cam ads. Okay. And and now Labubu ads as well now. Thanks. Thanks a lot, social media, or whoever's listening.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a
On my
good show
phone.
with the doc, and salute to the doc. He sent me a message earlier this morning. And I soon the next day after that show about those dolls, locally here, one of the news stations, KCAL 9, did a whole thing on the dolls, and I was like, oh my god, here we go. I had no idea about these dolls until I learned on your show, and then boom, I checked that newsreel out, and I immediately sent it to you and the doc because I was like, yo, check this out. And I did
Oh
share
yeah.
it over on my post. So yeah, it is a thing. So watch out with those dolls.
Yeah. It's a thing. I know. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Dr. Dennis Carroll, I got your text. I'm sorry, I was in a really big hurry and I forgot to text you back, but I got a text from him. He was actually telling me that he had I guess one of those meteorites. That meteorite had fallen not too far from his house, or recently one had. There's a lot of meteorites, by the way, we're going to be talking about today that have fallen. We have, let's see, I forgot how many, like 20 something in Georgia have fallen. I don't know about recently, but have been actually found. I've seen one crash through a house, and two of them have crashed through houses. And I've seen the actual meteorite in the flooring of the house where it crashed, because it's at the Tellus Museum in Cartersville, right near the Etowah Indian Mounds, right down the road from the Etowah Indian Mounds, and where the Dogman sightings are in North Paulden, where I used to live. Okay.
Trippy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It's all in it because it was the meteorite hit right there in Cartersville. Okay, where the Etowah Indian Mounds are. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not saying there's a connection, but there could be a connection there. Who knows? Lots of high strangeness out there. But yeah, Dennis said that he had some weird interference with his electronics and his television, and my mother has too. Okay, so this is wild. Let's just get into the current events that are happening down here in Georgia. Okay, this past week, I think it was Thursday night. I don't know which happened first. Let me think. What happened? The TV interruption. Oh yeah, the TV interruption happened first. Okay, so there's this weird thing that happened. People were posting all over TikTok, one of my trusted news sources, but it's not so trusty, really. So don't take advice from me, y'all. Don't do as I do, or just do as I say, okay? Or don't do as I say. I don't know. Y'all know what I mean. I sound like W right now. But there was people who were putting up videos. I'm not going to show the videos, but I'll show some still shots of, and I've kind of debunked it, y'all. I've debunked it, okay, a little bit. But people were putting up these videos, and it was like angelic, computer generated angel-like stuff. And it was like, yesterday in Georgia, the TV broadcast was interrupted by a message from the Anunnaki. Here's the real footage. Well, I don't think that's real footage, but I don't know. Here's the thing. I never heard a single full video of anybody saying anything. Okay. But this is like, was all the craze on TikTok, okay, this week. And people were reposting this, and somebody actually found the actual video. Okay, it's actually music of angels and archangels heal the damage of something or other, and that's the actual video right there. That somebody took that thumbnail and animated it, I believe. Now, who's to say? I could not find the actual any video. Somebody in the one of the comments was like, were they speaking telepathically? And I thought, man, that's a good point. Were they? Maybe. I'm not saying this didn't happen. Okay, I'm not saying nothing happened where the Anunnaki were coming through the TVs and all that kind of stuff, because my mother received some kind of TV interference, which was very odd. It was either Thursday night or Friday. Okay, it was either Thursday or Friday. And then Dennis said that he had the same thing happen in South Carolina. So let me go over what they say this thing said. Okay, now some people were saying that they took the original videos down off TikTok. They were actually deleted. That's why you couldn't find them. So that's why we're talking about this today, because could there be a cover up? Yeah, of course there could be. But let's just get into it. Now, before I get into this, what do you think about that, BD? What you think?
Well, I find it very interesting because there have been other similar type of I guess you could say like broadcast interruptions. And you mentioned the one from 77 earlier. I did a little quick recap last night of things because we just decided last night we were going to do this. So
Yeah.
had a little bit
Late.
of time
Yeah.
to do a little recap on stuff because obviously, what is it? The what's his name? I got it here. So Max Headroom comes to
Max
mind.
Headroom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, that's I'm an '80s kid, so
Me too.
yeah, I remember definitely Max Headroom, and that's interesting when you get into Max Headroom because there's some AI connections there and stuff like that. From back in the day, they were like making this guy look like an AI character way back
Yeah.
then, and just that broadcast interruption with the guy with his mask on was very very strange. I thought, but yeah, there's been some other alien ones. There's actually one that I ran into, and it was a KCAL 9 News again. The people that had shared that the dolls thing. What is it? The
Labubu's. The Labubus.
Labubus. Don't say
Yes.
that 3 times. Um,
I know, right?
yeah, so they had it's an old newsreel, and it's out of actually Orange County here, next to us here in LA, and it was of a cable broadcast, and it was like a emergency. You know how when they do the what is it the
Emergency broadcast system.
emergency broadcast system exactly, and they put the weird sounds and everything, and they mentioned during that interruption that the world was ending, and it was I think having to do with this planet coming in that was going to smash into our planet. And as soon as I heard that, I thought right away Planet X,
Yeah.
and that's
Nibiru.
where you got
Right?
your Anunnaki. What is it? Nibiru is what they call
Nibiru.
the
Yeah.
planet as well. Wormwood is another name I've heard for it as well. And so that there was my Anunnaki connection to that, and I thought that was pretty trippy. That
Yeah.
you're mentioning this whole thing happening now in Georgia, and I also we had some internet interruptions. I remember Chi and Garrel, our friends, Midwest Night Watchers, were mentioning earlier this week about some sort of interruptions with electronics and the internet, and I was like, hold on. And sure enough, I started having trouble here with my phone and stuff like that. Little things were happening. A few of my streams crashed and stuff like that, and so things were going on. And again, the news had just recently brought up. Actually, it was another streamer that had brought up just yesterday, and they were talking about a local service provider here for like internet and stuff. That's called Spectrum.
Yes.
Um, they had, I guess, some issues earlier this month where they had these interruptions, and
Yep.
now they're labeling it some sort of domestic terrorist attack. I think is what they labeled it, and so that's on the news now from earlier this month. And I was just like, okay, here we go again with these interruptions and things like along those lines. And so yeah, very interesting. There's a few others I'll mention also, but yeah, this TikTok one, I briefly seen the video that you sent me last night, and I did see that the meteors, I guess, is what they're calling it.
Yes.
And what also comes to mind with that is that there's been some recent, I guess, I don't know, it's Elon. Some of Elon's rockets have been blowing up and stuff like that. I think the last
Hmm.
one was just about a week or so ago out of Texas. And it reminded me of that, And again, our Midwest Night Watchers had captured something on camera out of their area that was very similar to this. It looked like a meteor or something just breaking up into pieces, like a big old fireball in the sky, and just very dramatic and stuff. So, yeah, what's it's like, what's up?
Yeah. Well, people are on the edge of their seats right now. Okay, because we're all waiting for this fake alien invasion, right? Or an alien invasion. It might be a mix of half and half, like real and fake. I mean,
Yeah, of
Project Bluebeam and all that
course.
kind of stuff could be going on. And like Moondog Davis said in the chat, he was like, they're just getting ready. They're getting us ready for something crazy, something weird.
Oh
And
yeah.
as if things aren't already weird enough, right?
Yeah, well, we have military presence here in the city right now. You've been hearing about the protests going on. The the whole situation here with the immigrants and all that that's a red flag there, and just the military being here. um yeah, I think there is something happening. I don't know what, but I see and I could feel it. People feel it. People are talking about it, and it just makes you wonder what what's happening here. And it's hard to tell. It's just we're being bombarded with so much information. It's hard to filter out and get the proper information that we're looking for. But yeah, no, I do feel, and in LA being, we've been talking about a lot of underground. LA's been coming up lately. The talks of different beings. Of course, LA is a hotspot. California is a hotspot for UFO activity, um, and of course the ETs. Even there's all types of like ET cults and stuff out here too. UFO cults.
Yeah.
It gets deep and it gets weird. So you got to be really careful. Um, but yeah, no, I feel like this is almost like not a ground zero, but it's a major point for whatever's happening in the world. You could look here and see that things are being stirred up right now, and we just got to keep an eye out. We got the fires going
Mhm.
on again. Um,
Oh no.
yeah. So just a lot happening. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm all over the place, but yeah, I just feel like we got to get ready. We got to get ready. Now's the time. We've always talked about prepping for natural disasters and stuff like that. But I think yeah, now is definitely the time to prepare yourselves for something, because it's happening, and we don't know exactly what's coming next. But yeah, get ready.
Oh yeah, man. I know. I tell everybody to keep your head on a swivel, okay, at all times. But don't live in fear. But get ready. Like prepare for, just have some extra food on hand and things like that. Now, first of all, thank you, Maureen, for that super sticker. Thank you to you and Gus. And yes, stay away from that Labubu. I wonder if them pushing out all these demonic dolls has something to do with just stirring the pot a little bit more.
Oh,
What do you
sure,
think?
why not? Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
everything, we say it and it sounds what is it? Even saying cliche sounds cliche.
Yes.
Um but that everything is connected, and yeah, I think you could make connections with everything, and so everything's happening for a reason. There's a spiritual warfare going on also. A lot of us are becoming more aware of that. Some of us have been knowing, and so they're hitting us on all types of levels,
Hmm.
even financially, you name
Yes.
it. It's just like they're tightening the vice, and with that, you got the high strangeness going on too. There's a lot of strange things happening. You talk about a lot of these
Yeah.
topics, and a lot of it sounds, far out. But when you look into it, there are these connections, these dots, and that's what we do
Hmm.
here. Try to make these connections with these dots, and especially for me, like I try to see how it relates to my life, and how whatever information I'm getting, like what have I experienced that could connect me to this. And there's a lot with this, a lot of this weird stuff. I don't really get into it. My focus is Bigfoot for the most part. But no, I keep an eye on the weird stuff. And TikTok I haven't been on too much, but I know TikTok, once again, it's a source of information. And yeah, you got to filter a lot of stuff out there, but there's good stuff on there also. And so yeah, it makes me wonder if they did take those videos down. And it's interesting. It was cool that someone was able to discover that angelic depiction there. I love doing that. I love when people do that type of detective
Yeah.
work, when they were able to debunk and find things. And I try to do the best I can for myself. And if there's stuff that I could relay out to people and share that information, I go ahead and do it. But yeah, no. So yeah, what other way to connect with people than the TV? And now that we're phasing out of television, kind of, we're all using our
Yeah.
phones and computers and tablets and all that stuff now. So it's almost like the TV is like this dying gadget now, but people still do watch it. And but yeah, no, back in the day we were all just focused. We didn't have all these devices and stuff, so the TV was our main source of information and stuff like that. So I feel like,
Yeah.
what other way to get a message out to the masses by using the television? And I think
Mhm.
they were already doing that on a certain level, programming and whatnot with the television. But then these these interruptions that we're talking about here, they seem to be kind of like pretty pirate, so I wonder if, I don't think the news stations or the channels had anything to do with it. And again, you get these ET messages. That 1977 message, I believe, the 6-minute message or whatever, a lot of it was like for us to get rid of our arms. It was a peaceful message, as to where some of these other ones seem to be a little more like fear mongering. There's actually one out of, I think it's Michigan. Let's see, did you find that one with the zombies? There was
No,
this,
I don't know about
there
that
was
one.
a emergency
zombie.
broadcast. There was
What?
yeah, it was an emergency. It was an interruption, and it was an emergency broadcast. Also, like the one in Orange County I was talking about. And actually, this was at a Montana. And I think if you look up Montana hackers, and that one also went to a few other states. And basically, they put out the emergency broadcast and saying that the dead were coming up out of the ground, basically like zombies, and that they were starting to do their thing. The zombie apocalypse was happening.
The Walking Dead. It was coming to life.
So yeah, pretty scary, and I'm sure there were some people alarmed. But yeah, what's up with that? I don't think I've heard too many other of these peaceful broadcast interruption, ET or monster messages.
Oh yeah, and that's pretty terrifying. Well, back in, was it the 1950s, or maybe it was even before that, when people were, it might have been before that, the War of the Worlds. Okay, that's where they broadcast. They were actually reading from a book, and people thought the aliens were really taking over this planet, and they panicked. People were going nuts, and it's kind of the same thing, right? It's kind of the same thing with this. It's just history repeating itself. But the 1977 broadcast is one of, people say that they think it's a hoax, or people say, of course it was a hoax, but yet no one has ever come forward to admit they did that. No one. And I've got the entire transcript right here. I'll actually read it in just a minute as to what this voice said over the televisions, because I think it's really cool. Barry Littleton had given me the remote viewing target of those orbs that make crop circles, and I received a download like message to humanity through that target. That was a blind target. I didn't know what I was looking at.
Yeah.
And it was about, keep going. We're here to help you. We're here. We're trying to let our presence be known because we want to help you guys. And it's like the same messages kind of keep coming through some of these broadcasts. Now the zombie one, I don't know about that one, but when it comes to the Ashtar Command guy over here, he's trying to keep things positive and let us know when humanity has to awaken.
Yeah, which I think is pretty cool. And also going back to War of the World, it was I remember that as a kid. We in school we went through that, and I'll never forget. This is one of those that stuck in my mind, and just to think that like people, I mean I don't know if it was true, but from what I remember is like people were jumping out of windows and stuff like that, and like it was like whoa. And what was different is that back then, I don't know, was TV wasn't around back then. It was just radios.
I think so. Yeah,
right?
It came over the radio.
Yeah, and that's something I'll have to remember, because I think there's some other broadcast interruptions that I want to bring up that were actually having to do with radio. I know these that we're talking about are like TV or internet, but there are some radio ones, and I'm sure people will remember this one.
Oh yeah.
Or should I say it now?
Yeah, say it now.
Who remembers the Art Bell interruption where that guy calls in all panicked? And
oh yes.
Yeah, remember that? That was he was there too.
He was from Area 51, right, or something like that.
Something like that, and had a message, and it wasn't a good one, and it was about the major cities. We're gonna get something coming to them, and he was just like a heads up. And then, but then that supposedly was debunked by supposedly the same guy coming back on the radio and explaining that, whatever, it wasn't.
Just like that woman who was pointing in the airplane like that MFer is not real. And then they were like, oh, well, it's all been debunked, because she said that somebody had shapeshifted beside her or something. Mm-hmm. And then later on, a woman shows up and was like, well, that was me. I did that. But it was a totally different woman. I mean, it didn't look like the same woman to me. I don't know. I think it was a stand-in, and when they trace the IP address or her phone number or something, some kind, whatever information people were finding out about her, the numbers trace back to like TMZ or something like that in like Washington or maybe it was LA, but I could have sworn it was like DC. It was something like that. It was just very odd, very odd. It just feels like we're getting set up for something. I don't know. I know a setup when I see it.
Yeah. And, you know, we've gotten these positive messages from ETs a whole lot. You know, if you get into the whole ET scene, there's that whole, part of, I guess, is the benevolent ones that put out the message of peace and that we should be doing the right things and all that, which is, it's good. You know, I think it's really good. And, I don't know. It's a little odd also that you get the opposite, and it seems like the opposite, the more negative messages seem to be more of the thing these days. I don't know, I'm hearing more negative stuff from like ETs and beings like that, although you do hear some of the positive stuff. But it seems like for the most part, you know, I don't know, aliens have always been kind of scary to me. And also, speaking of aliens, there's a recent clip out of Compton, California. Has anyone checked that out? Yeah, a good friend of ours, Latchkey Hustle on YouTube, did a breakdown of it. And it's like reminding me of the Las Vegas situation. You remember Vegas just a couple years ago had that situation with those aliens in the backyard and everything. This is very similar to that, and it's pretty good footage. So I think there's something going on in the hood here, folks.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. But it's nowadays, you know, what other better way to get a message out like that? Now with the internet, you know, and with technology being, I guess, for us advanced. I think there's easier ways for people to do stuff like that and maybe even get away, you know, hacking and stuff. I also wanted to bring bring up. We talked about the broadcasting company that had those issues earlier this month, and then these recent issues that you just had also seems to be like around the same time we were having issues, which was earlier this week, and their name Spectrum was brought up again. So I don't know. You know, we've been having power. We just had a power outage on our block. Our street lights have been out lately. And so, there's just a lot of weird stuff happening around here. And I don't know. My red flags are up, Jessica.
Yeah, mine too. Well, my uncle lives in LA, actually. He's out there. Okay. And I saw him complaining on Twitter. I don't really respond to people on X or whatever very much. I just post stuff and just leave it and go about my day, you know. But I know that's terrible, but it is what it is. I'm just kind of busy. But I saw him, he was complaining about Spectrum. That's what it was. This is all for entertainment purposes only, and I'm not sponsored by anybody, y'all. Okay, anything like that. But they were complaining. He was complaining because the service had been down so much, and he works online. Most people work online today. Just about everybody does, in some capacity. And but here's another weird thing that's going on out there in Las Vegas. Did you see all those power poles that were like in the street on what road was that? I can't remember what road it is. There's a street in Las Vegas where every single power line, power pole, I think they call them power poles. I thought they were telephone poles, but they call them power poles. They were all knocked over in the street. I didn't have time to like look into it more, but it was like an entire, they said it went for a mile or more of
Weird.
All of them.
Well, you know, that's trippy. I haven't heard about that yet. And that reminds me of, I think it was up in Washington where that weird thing happened where all these trees and stuff went down. I don't know if you ever did a show on that, but it was this like, I don't know. It was this weird situation where all these trees and stuff went down. And Tropicana. I was thinking Tropicana earlier.
That's it. Yeah, it was the name of a hotel or a casino or something, I thought. So yeah, Tropicana Street. That's it. So anyway, well, you know, something I was just thinking about LA too is like I've talked about it. You know, I had when Nick Sylvester came on the show, we were talking about reptilian hives underneath LA potentially and things like that. You know, there was that. Not to say there's reptilian hives down there and they're being burned out of their dens and whatever. I don't know how that works, but there is evidence of an ancient lizard people city down there, and I would imagine that's a very powerful place with a lot of high strangeness that could, be why there's so much high strangeness in LA. Like partly, maybe it's just on some powerful grid point there, so.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I think.
And there's plenty of blood going on around here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So let's see. I wanted to take a look at. I got a couple things that I had written down, and since we're talking Hollywood and everything, so this is not. It's a movie, and I'm sure it's one that a lot of you like. That comes to mind is They Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so They Live. So from what I remember, They Live, and it's like They Live is happening outside right now. It was these ETs, right, that were in positions of government and stuff like that. And if I'm not mistaken, it was like a broadcast that they were pumping out, right? They would see the billboards. You would need the special glasses to be able to really read what was being pumped out. Obey, obey.
Yeah.
And also, it was a broadcast that was sending out signals throughout the city and everywhere, and pumping out this message or whatever. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of all that too. So definitely had to bring that up. And that's just one of those movies. I know you've been bringing up the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas a whole lot. I want to do a little dive on
the
that.
Google Chrome.
Yeah,
Google Chrome. It rhymes with
some of
Google
you
Chrome.
could help me with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to dip into that movie, and we know that movies will have stuff in them, that predictive programming and just different information like that, where they'll, put it out there. Sometimes things before they happen, or as they're happening. So yeah, no, that's something that came to mind for sure. And yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, definitely check it out, and it'll give you a glimpse of to what I feel is going on out here on a certain level.
Yeah, I think we all need to get us a set of dicyanin dye goggles. What do you think?
Hey, yeah,
Or not.
I've been looking into those.
Have you?
And I did get some shades sent to me by someone that I think they're on along those levels, but I have not tried them yet. And but yeah, no, I've been hearing a whole lot about those glasses, and it seems pretty interesting and a bit scary too.
It does. It'd be trippy. Trip out, right? That's your phrase right there. I love that. Yeah. It would be a bit much, I think. I think it would be a bit much for people to if people are not familiar with the dicyanin dye goggles, that's actually one of the top watch shows on my channel was about that. And thanks to Cryptid in the chat, he gave me that idea for that show actually. And so it's during the Vietnam War, there were these goggles that were produced with this special dicyanin dye, and it was interdimensional viewing technology basically. And they gave them to the gunners on the back of helicopters. Why? I don't know why they would do that. And the gunners started seeing demons flying up next to the helicopters and shooting at the friendly helicopters, at their friends, because they were seeing it was like hell basically. And that's really sad to think that, like, I mean, I know that's in a war situation, a war zone. It's horrible. It's hell as it is, it's hell anyways. But they were seeing actual interdimensional demons and things like that. And I would kind of be worried about what we would all see if we put those on. You know what I mean? Like to see the true nature of what's around us.
And that's maybe why that we're only allowed to see a certain amount of spectrum, is to prevent us from actually seeing these other dimensions, realms, or beings, and maybe we're slowly, gradually getting that vision to be able to see certain things. Maybe some of us are already there, but I feel like maybe whoever created us maybe made us to only see a certain amount, and that we wouldn't see these things. So maybe, like we say, all these wild things are going on all around us, and but we just can't fully see it yet, and that's what I feel from that. But yeah,
God knew what he was doing when he gave us that spectrum of us to see in, I guess. And maybe every now and then it gets turned up a notch, but I think maybe through a lot of this, I'm just going to say like frequency warfare. Let's just put it that way. Because it's kind of, humanity is under attack. by something, some kind of force. In my opinion, this is my opinion, okay. But with all these frequencies and tones and even they call it broadcasting for a reason, right? They're broadcasting like spells, I guess you could say, onto the general public. MK Ultra mind control. Look up Project Mockingbird, y'all. Things like that. It's just one thing after another. We've got the 5G, we got the energy weapons, whatever, and so it's just a constant barrage on our consciousness. And it's almost like to keep us, to keep pounding it into our energy fields. And so we're under constant attack. And it's, unless you live in a lead painted house or down in a bunker somewhere, we don't really stand a chance to all this frequency war that's going on out here.
Oh yeah, and you can't forget about the sky trails, which is, I think, is a whole thing that's part of what you're talking about there. Yeah, it's just and we're learning more, which is good. But darn, it's like it sometimes it can feel overwhelming. Like, yeah, what do we do? What can we do? And I just feel you got to stay strong in the mind, and because if you start to lose it, then they start winning. So you just got to figure out a way. And I feel my way is just following my passions, just staying on top of these subjects as much as I can, and that keeps me going for sure. So
well, we're in the woods a lot too. We're in the woods a lot. We get away from all the phone service and all that. You and I both, the places that I go almost weekly, at least every couple of weeks, there's no phone service out there and stuff. And I think that's important for us to get away, take a break, y'all.
Yeah,
and, leave your phone in the car.
I'm ready for it. So we're gonna run here soon. Out and hang out with Bigfoot for a while, because this is what it makes me feel like with everything going on here. I'm just like, I'm ready to go chill with Bigfoot.
Yeah, and keep your bug out in the truck, man. Get your bug out bags and some, a couple weeks worth of food. Get some of those containers of storable food, y'all. Everybody should get that. I highly recommend it. What is it? My Patriot Supply. I'm just saying. I'm not sponsored, but y'all, I'm just trying to give some advice out there on that. Here's a good statement right here from Urso. Okay, this is blowing my mind. We're gonna go back to these aliens interrupting in just a second, y'all. Okay, but this could be like aliens interrupting children. We have to protect our children at all costs, y'all. Okay, I have been seeing all these videos, not only on TikTok but all over the place, of children when their parents are laughing about it, which I find sinister. Okay, maybe they just don't know. Maybe their pineal glands are just shot. I don't know what's going on. I'm no shade to the parents, y'all. Okay, but when they say Siri or Google or whatever it is, whatever these listening devices are in people's homes, I don't have one in my house. I would never. But when they say, "Hey Siri, tell me this," the kids fall on the ground. It's like they hold their hands over their ears, hold their heads down, and they drop to the ground.
Oh my goodness.
They're terrified. And I'm talking about little kids and, 5-6-year-olds. They are terrified whenever that thing cuts on, the kids drop to the ground. Now, why would that be? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, that's weird. There's something going on. And and how sad that, for them to, they don't, I feel like, no one's exempt, not even the babies. Everybody's, I don't know. I just feel like everyone's under attack. Yes. And also, it kind of reminds me of that cheese thing when people were throwing the cheese slices on the babies. They were reacting a certain way. But I think through the electronics, and as we get more of these electronics in the house and everything, and we've seen it coming, the smart houses, smart this, smart that. And I don't know how smart it really is, but it doesn't seem too smart to me. But even like some of the local fires where some people were blaming possibly these smart meters. So I definitely, they got the upper hand once, we're pretty much addicted to these gadgets. So they're going to continue pumping it and getting it all in us until, they really have it in us, like literally. And I've been hearing about that a whole lot from way back, and here we are. And you know, we're seeing it. It's here now. So that's the thing, is to, you know, when we hear about certain things, I think it's important to stay on top of it, because before you know it, it's already there. So it's already here. Everything we're talking about, it's here already. And so it's a matter of just, you know, figuring it out, and trying to figure out what's best for you, and what's not, you know. And yeah, very weird.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's one more point. Okay, because I see Leah's comment here. Hey, Leah, and talking about the factories and the white hats and things like that. Okay, here's another thing that I've been hearing, and this is if you follow the whole Q stuff, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, I've been seeing a whole lot of videos about this, that they're talking to someone in the chat, that maybe it was Beth, I think. Hey, Beth. Said, you know, what do y'all think about if anything's going to happen on July the 4th, which is coming up on Friday, or July the 5th? I've been hearing there's some, you know, I don't want to say a psychic, a prophet, I think is what they're calling her. She had been predicting things happening in the world that had all come true pretty much. And she's predicting something huge happening, I think, in the United States on the July the 5th. Okay. Well, what I've been hearing, this is the word on the street, and I don't know if this is going to happen or this is even true, but they're going to be, I heard there's going to be some kind of broadcast of, like, there's going to be an emergency broadcast where all the, you know, TV channels or the cable networks are all going to go dark. Everything's going to go dark, and they're going to start broadcasting. It's going to be a reset, basically, where all the darks come into light and all that kind of stuff. And it's stuff that's been building up for a long time. Now, whether that's a psyop or not, I hope it's not, but I don't know. Okay, about that. But this is another thing that could explain what this other stuff is going on that we're talking about today. There could be some kind of, like, government plan, okay, to expose some things and to shut everything down and to go dark, as they say, and expose some crimes that have been going on and things like that. But that's also hearsay as well. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me, because yeah, these dates, certain astrological alignments, things like that, I think come into play with certain events, certain things happening. And yeah, so, you know, the Independence Day, we have, again, we mentioned a lot of the situation that's happening in the country, and then outside of the country also. You know, a lot of things have been happening, a whole lot, just within the last few weeks. And so it wouldn't surprise me if something were to happen on the 4th. And yeah, it's just even topics with like fireworks have been an issue out here. There was a big old explosion up in a little bit, I guess, north central California yesterday, with the, like, some sort of firework factory.
Oh, God.
And yeah, I think it's a little odd. I didn't even know we had firework factories out here. So yeah, I think that's a little weird. You know, it's just certain things are happening. And yeah, so watch out for the 4th or the 5th, folks. You know, like I said, I probably won't be here.
Yeah, just be aware, everybody. You know, big crowds are not recommended. I'm just saying, just big crowds are not recommended right now. We don't know what's going on. And Colleen has a wonderful question. How do we trust that blackout or the broadcast? Like, how do we trust anything? That's where your intuition comes into play, and your gut. Okay, no matter what. Look, I've learned to not trust nothing from nobody. Okay, I don't trust a whole lot. It's terrible, but it's just the way it is. You know, I feel like the public has been deceived for so long on so many things, and you just kind of have to go with your gut. You know, something inherently tells me that some of the stuff, even though people are like, I'm not going to get into detail, but I guess it's just stuff that a lot of people say are like hoaxes, and they're trying to debunk it. There's things that I inherently know are just true. I just know they're true. And I don't know how I know, but I do know, and I trust the plan, let's just say. I guess that's the easy way to put it. I trust the plan because I inherently do believe that a lot of this stuff is real, that has been put out to the public for years. Like some of the people in the chat were saying, I've been waiting for this for years. Well, maybe it's about to happen. I mean, I feel like something's building up, and there's a whole lot of chaos going on right now, and confusion, and that is on purpose. There's always chaos and confusion before the, you know, realignment comes in and stuff like that. Now, I hope that it's a good realignment. You know, I'm here to keep the vibration high and to stay positive about it.
Yes.
But I'm ready for the dark side if that happens too. You know,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to prepare.
Yeah, and I see it like that too. You know, it's a lot of negativity, a lot of,
Yeah.
strange energies, vibes, frequencies, you name it. But I think I do feel it is for good also. So we got to go through the darkness to get to the light, and so yeah, maybe we're going through the dark moments here, but I do see light at the end of the tunnel, and yeah, it's a matter of keeping that mindset, that focus, and just again, just doing your part also, which is for me is doing my inner work,
Hmm.
from there I could help others, but yeah, interesting times, like they say, and yeah, I'm excited to see what happens next.
Oh man, me too. I mean, we may be living in like Mad Max world here soon. I mean, who knows? But hey, I'm here for it. I've even decided what my warlord, what do you call it, warlord name will be.
Oh,
I'm
all
just kidding.
right.
I'm just kidding. I haven't, y'all. I was just kidding. It's a joke. But we might as well. You gotta think ahead, y'all. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
If
and
you're
you know
gonna
what,
have
that
to
that
fight
that
for your life, do it the right way. Okay.
right. And you know what? Going back to that zombie apocalypse, the broadcast interruption, that was during the Steve Wilkos show. And if you don't remember who Steve Wilkos was, he
Oh
was
my God, from Jerry
Jerry
Springer.
Springer.
Yeah, Jerry. He was the guy
Yeah,
who sat in the front and was the bouncer, right?
yeah, yep.
Security. Wait, what did he do?
So he ended up getting his own show, which I never watched. But it was
Yes.
that broadcast interruption of the zombies and everything was during his show.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Yeah, which was interesting also that the Max Headroom interruption, I think that was during I think it was a late night news broadcast. They were showing I forget what football teams, the highlights of that, and that's when that interruption happened. And then I believe it was they said something like a couple hours later the interruption happened again, but that was during a Doctor Who episode, and which
Oh
I
yeah.
found, well, maybe let's look into some of these shows, the interruptions, maybe the times of the interruptions, just weird stuff like that. Maybe the dates of when this happened, also to make some
Oh,
sort of connections and stuff like that. But again, like that, like the Max Headroom, no one was ever busted for that, or no one ever came, forward with why and what, and just like a lot of these other interruptions also. Actually, there's one, it was a guy who had done an interruption on, I think it was HBO at the time, way back then. They had supposedly like hiked the prices of cable TV and did some changes to some channels and stuff like, and he was pissed and had the ability to like tap into the broadcast, and he was making his complaints visible to the people there.
oh,
Yeah,
oh
pretty
yeah,
weird.
that's right. I remember
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
remember that. Things are so hackable, man. If you know how to hack stuff, things are hackable. Like,
yeah.
we've got, what is that, Anonymous that's out there that'll like put stuff out.
Not That's another one.
Yeah.
And I actually recently touched on one because Buddy, a well-known muralist, graph artist from LA, had shared a recent anonymous post on his Instagram, and it was once again it was warning us here in the States to get ready because something was going to happen. And you know what? I'm getting a couple customers here, so you want to go ahead and hold it down here, and then I'll be right back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Just come
Thanks.
back whenever you're ready.
All right.
Yes. It was not a wardrobe, it was a warlord. Okay, Maureen? A war name, a warlord. I have no intention of being a warlord, y'all, but I can promise you, my son might want to be one. He's only 11 though, so but we are prepared for anything, y'all, and we should all be prepared for anything. Okay, so here we go. Let's get in. Let's rewind, backtrack just a little bit while BD's gone and helping a customer. He is at work today, y'all, and he was so awesome to show up and to hang out with me today and all of us. Okay, so going back to what we were talking about earlier. Okay, so the TVs of people in South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee, they said, were actually, some people said they were taken over by the Anunnaki. Now, I can't find any exact proof of that. From what people were saying online, the videos of the actual transmission were taken down, is what people were saying. My mother actually had interference in her television. She said it was green. Her screen turned digitized I call it digitized. Y'all know what I mean, right? Like a digitized green and blue. I think she said definitely green. She said it was kind of all over the screen, and it lasted for a while, and she was really confused about it. And that happened. And then Dennis texted me. Thank you, Dennis, if you're listening. I will text you back as soon as the show's over. But he said that he had some interference in his television broadcast as well on his TV. Now, we don't have cable. Okay, like I don't have cable. My mom doesn't have cable. We have internet. Okay, so it wasn't like a cable broadcast. This was just an internet transmission, I guess, on her television, because she likes to watch YouTube and Roku and things like that. Okay, so like I said, the message this is what they said. The message acknowledged chaos amongst humans, severe weather events coming, and they said they were going to help. And they described how they were these are the Anunnaki. That's what they were calling them. That they were in a galactic war. Okay, and right after this happened, like the next day, these fireballs started falling from the sky. It was actually one. I think it was one fireball. Okay, so I'm like, oh, it was a bunch of fireballs. It was actually just one, but we have a bunch of angles of it. Okay, these pictures are all from Georgia, but there's actual pictures of these fireballs all over. Some of these pictures are the same, but it was actually falling. A lot of people saw this in their cars. I've actually seen something that looked almost exactly like that when I was driving home from, it was either Bigfooting in North Georgia or I was speaking at a Bigfoot conference in North Georgia. I can't remember. I was driving past Dahlonega up in North Georgia, where they have a lot of gold, by the way. It's known for their gold mines up there. And I saw something very similar to that driving home from there. And you can see in the middle of the screen, that's the same one that dropped. Now, I have a video, y'all. I'm going to show a video. It's a news broadcast, and we can talk over it. I think it'll be fine to show the news broadcast as long as we're, it's for educational purposes, I guess, and just for showing it. As long as we commentate over, I think we'll be fine. But this is actually part of that meteorite crashed through a man's house and landed on his floor. Okay, isn't that wild? That would be all. By the way, I am wearing two meteorites right now. Okay, I have a ring. This is my meteorite. This is from, I think it's from Argentina, if I'm not mistaken. Campo de Cello, I think is how you pronounce it, but I'm not sure. It looks like Celo. I think it's Cello, but I'm not sure. So I got this meteorite, and then I have a meteorite in my necklace as well. I think it's from the same meteorite. Okay.
Nice.
It was a big one that crashed. I think wearing meteorites is galactically amazing. Okay. and it suits me. If anybody's interested in some meteorites, I know the person who sells some of this stuff, and I will send me a message. Let me know what you want, and I'll see if I can locate it, and I'll get it from my shop. If anybody wants to buy some meteorites. Okay. In jewelry. Okay. So let's see. Oh, so after this happened, after this broadcast went through, allegedly, the meteorite was seen crashing through. Let me play the video. Let's do that before I keep, because I'll go down another rabbit hole and I'll forget what I was doing.
Oh yeah,
that's how I roll. Okay, fireball stuns the southeast. We may need to talk over this just a little bit for commentary.
Or if you have the ability to pause, they say, I've heard, if you play the video and wait, like play 15 seconds, you pause, comment and stuff. But I've heard people say that it's not true. That doesn't,
Okay. Well, we're just going to pause it. We're going to do a remix.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We'll do a remix. And okay, so let's play it just a little bit here. This is CBS Mornings. This is off of YouTube. Fireball stuns the southeast after meteor explodes over Georgia. Let's see here.
Video out of the southeast showing a fireball streaking across the sky yesterday. No one injured. Just about everybody, though, puzzled and maybe a little worried about what they're seeing. Dave Malkoff.
Okay. I don't want to play too much there. Okay.
Weird.
But that's just it, right? It's just a fireball. Okay. Maybe I should. Well, here, we'll play a little bit more.
Shows us that you may be surprised to hear this is apparently a fairly common occurrence.
Yeah.
Huh.
People in South Carolina.
Okay. Well, I've already told y'all that part. Let's see. I want to try to find the part where it crashes into the guy's house.
Too, which is pretty trippy.
It was during the day. Oh, I want the audience to see this. This is really cool. Let's listen to this part.
Across the sky at 30,000 miles per hour.
It was fiery orange with the blue tail and just coming straight down.
According to NASA, the meteor then
Fiery
exploded
orange with a
over
blue
West
tail.
Forest, Georgia, with the power
not-
of 20 tons of TNT.
Okay, that is not far from where I live, by the way. I'm in West Georgia. I talk about the troop herd corridor all the time. Okay, and the troop herd corridor is literally just south of West Forest, like down there, but it's more towards Alabama, kind of to the west. Okay, so it's not too far from there. That's going to be like the Chattahoochee Hills area and things like that, right south of Atlanta. So, or maybe it's Fayetteville.
Chattahoochee,
anyways,
hoochie coochie.
the hoochie coochie, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie, that's for sure down there. Okay, we'll play a little bit more of this. Let's see.
Some witnesses say it felt like an earthquake. Satellite imagery shows the fireball appearing just after noon. The American Meteor Society say the fireball could be tied to the annual daytime meteor shower called the Beta Torrents, which famously flattened parts of the Siberian forest in 1908. Those same experts say they get reports of one daytime incident per month across
the whole bunch of trees.
And U.S. government sensors have now tracked at least 20 such fireball events worldwide this year. For CBS Mornings,
man, okay,
one per month.
Something like that. I've got some stats. Yeah, I've actually got some stats because somebody was interviewed from the Tellus Museum where I used to go. I used to have an annual membership, for my family. I used to take my son there all the time when I was pushing him in a stroller to go see the dinosaurs. We had to go see the Loch Ness Monster. Okay, they have like a plesiosaur, or is that how you say it there? And we would go see, and I would show him the Loch Ness Monster when he was a kid over there. But yeah, they say that this was really different because this is a daytime meteorite falling from the sky, which is really odd. And the lady that was a representative from the Tellus Museum was saying that on the news. And also, I was saying earlier, that's where the other meteorite that crashed through somebody's home is located. They actually have all the information right there. I'm not sure they have the actual meteorite there. I think they do, but I can't remember. They have a whole display on it.
That's trippy. I would like to know who this guy is that attracted this meteor to his house.
Yeah, right. Like, what does he have going on there? I mean, is it like magnetic or something?
Yeah, I was
going to
say, what do you just magnetize yourself to this object coming?
Yeah.
Can you help us find gold? The gold.
Yes.
Where's the gold? Where's me gold?
Where is it? He's a leprechaun. He's probably a leprechaun. He's got trolls living under his house, or reptilians. I'm just kidding. Okay, here's another thing. Okay, so I only found this on TikTok. I could not find this anywhere else. It was not mainstream. But there was another story of another gentleman who had. Okay, well, there's another picture of the meteorite. There is a gentleman who claims that this is out of South Carolina, that this fell into his property. And he thought this was a meteorite too. But I mean, the meteorite that I have on my jewelry is silver. It's like a silvery, it looks like pyrite almost. Okay, if you know what pyrite looks like. They call it fool's gold, but it's more silver, but it's that same consistency. Okay, the same, it looks metallic, right? Here, I'll show you. I don't know if y'all can see that. It might be. See this? I'm trying to put it up next. Can y'all see that?
There we go.
It's a little blurry, but that's it. Okay, it's a little blurry. My camera sucks. Okay, but anyways, maybe I'll put a picture of it on social media later. This is blue. It's a little weird, right? It's like,
yeah, it looks pretty weird, pretty trippy.
It's like blue, some kind of blue kryptonite there. I don't know, but this is what he said. It crashed through the top of his metal. What do you call that? Like a little shade that you park under. Yeah, his awning.
Yeah.
And this is the hole that it put in on the concrete, on the asphalt in his driveway.
Well, does it look the hole? Well, I don't even know if that maybe like an impression doesn't look too deep, but hey, if he says that's where it landed, then that's where it landed. That's
what he says. It doesn't look deep at all. I don't know. This is, like I said, it's TikTok, trusted news source. I don't know. Maybe not. But that's what he was claiming, and so I just found it kind of interesting, and so this was a recent one as well. But to me, that doesn't look like the meteorite, like that. This right here does not look like this right here, and that right there actually looks more like what I have on my finger and on my necklace right now. It looks more like the meteorites that I am used to seeing.
Yeah,
this
or
right
it
here
could be that he put that other rock, whatever that is, as the meteorite, but maybe that's not really it either. Yeah,
maybe it's just all a big old psyop or something. I mean, that I don't know what that is right there. I mean, that who knows, y'all? Okay. Is it part of the Great Deception? I don't know. It feels like there's so much misinformation. And I mean, if you go on, like I said, TikTok, once again, I said TikTok again, I keep saying that word. If you go on there, there's a lot of people, especially around Atlanta, who were posting things about the booms that they were hearing. And it was freaking everybody out. Sonic booms. Mm-hmm.
We've been getting the booms out here too.
You have?
And it's kind of hard to tell with all the fireworks stuff going on, and all the fireworks stuff happens yearly, and of course it's ramping up this week, these past few days, as we get into the 4th. But the booms, even up in Northern California, we get those weird booms up there. So, yeah, what's up?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, when I was hearing about these booms, I was like, okay. Well, I didn't realize that was part of what the news was reporting too. They were saying, you know, there's actually a series of very loud booms, but they were attributing that to that meteorite hitting. Okay, so they were. But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, right there in Atlanta, not too far from where all this is going down, we have Lockheed Martin. Okay, and my good friend Jeff Townsend, R.I.P. to Jeff. Jeff has been on the show talking about his dogman encounter. And he passed away this past year. And he was a manager in the warehouse where they build the planes and stuff at Lockheed Martin.
Wow.
He had a big time job. He did all the inspections and everything on all the new crafts and things like that out there in Marietta, Georgia. I mean, it's literally 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta.
Okay.
And so they test stuff all the time. There's all sorts of weird aircraft that I have seen in the sky before, just from Lockheed Martin.
And, you know, their name comes up with the UFO topics and everything.
Yeah.
Also, I always, when I hear the name Lockheed Martin, it reminds me of the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I don't know if people have noticed, but there's a scene with Lockheed Martin trucks in the background.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting, you know.
Wow.
There's this E.T. movie, and Lockheed has their name and their trucks and stuff in the background in one of the clips, and yeah, pretty interesting.
That's no coincidence. And you know, our buddy Jim Goodall has done some flying. I don't know if he worked at Lockheed or what. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, he was all up in what was it, Area 51, right?
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten
Mr.
a
Lear.
chance to talk. Okay, I've heard him talk a whole lot of interviews with Jim, and I love to hear his stories and stuff. And yeah, I would love to hang out with him.
Yeah, me too.
I have this some special stuff called jet fuel for him.
Oh God! Oh, I know what you're talking about. Listen, I've hung out with Jim in person, and I know exactly what you're talking about. That is too funny. He is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy, and I need to have him on my channel over here. I had him at Space Out Radio on my show, but I don't think he's been here yet. Can't remember.
But you know, the another thing with the booms, it could be something maybe out in space or in our bubble here. But the underground comes up too. You know, it could be work that's going on underground. You know, that has come to mind. And I don't know. I just feel like a lot more of the underground is coming to the surface. So yeah, don't be surprised, folks, if you start finding out that there's a whole network for real, like confirmed network all under us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Amanda.
For sure. What's up, Amanda? Amanda's birthday is July 5th, y'all. So happy birthday, Amanda. Yes. Yeah. She says she hopes nothing crazy happens on her birthday. Nothing crazy bad, at least. Crazy good's good.
Yeah, right. Okay. She's from Chico.
Oh yeah. That's in California.
Know what I was gonna say? We have a Murrieta out here too in California.
A Murrieta.
Murrieta.
Is it Murrieta or Marietta?
Oh, Marietta. Ours is Murrieta.
Well, it sounds like Marietta from my accent, probably. Yes, but it's Marietta.
Marietta. Yeah. All right.
Marietta. I know. I need to enunciate better when I speak. But Marietta. It's in Cobb County. That's where the Atlanta Braves play, y'all. That's where their new stadium is. Okay. Well. All right, so people were going online because of this whole Anunnaki thing, right? The Anunnaki message that came over the television screens. People were all on TikTok. They were just animate about this is from the Galactic War. This is debris from the Galactic War that came down and flew through space. And I was like, well, or it could have been Katy Perry in another one of her space launches. I don't know. And all those women. I'm just kidding. But yeah, there's a lot of buzz about it, and about it being from the Galactic War. Now I don't know if I don't know. It could be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, and that's another one of those things that I've heard of before. It sounds far out.
It does.
But I started questioning it when I noticed there was a few videos out there similar. They were capturing the same similar orb-like objects that I was, and they showed. I think it was like a trail, one of those bad sky trails that those planes spray.
Yeah.
And this orb began shooting like almost like seemed like a laser or some sort, almost like at the clouds, or I don't know if it was shooting at another object, but it seemed to be shooting something. And so maybe it was either cleaning up the trail, that's what came to mind, or maybe it was attacking some sort of other object. And then I have been hearing more and more about some of these objects that we're seeing. You know, they're described as all different types of shapes and colors and stuff like that. But that some of them could be at war with each other too. So there is some sort of war going on with these objects within themselves. And maybe, I don't know if these objects are carrying ETs with them or not, or they're related. Who knows? But you know, it when you mention that, it just, I don't completely knock it, you know. Again, it's far out, you know, but I don't throw it out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Or the baby.
I know, me neither. I know. Well, it's, you know, and that's why I thought it was important to like even do a show on this today, because I think it's even if I can't find a whole lot of evidence that this Anunnaki message came through, there's all this other stuff that is true, and there are all these other experiences that people are having. So let's kind of dig through it and see what's what, you know, and let's connect some dots. And I love this. Moondog says the Vedas say Shiva's tears or blood fell to earth in Afghanistan and created all the massive gem bits. Wow, that's really cool. I love these tidbits of info we get with the audience and stuff too. And yes, Hillbilly Herb, LA Lizard Tunnels, yo, absolutely. Yep. And Rhonda says the blue crystal looks like an Indara crystal. Yeah, wow. And Robin who lives out in Cali too. Hey, Robin, she said cobalt. I can't say that word. Cobalt blue glass, as well as what that could have been. There's a lot of different things that could have been. Okay. But was it a meteorite? I don't think so. Okay. But I don't know. I'm no meteorite specialist. I just wear it as jewelry. Okay. That's all I do. I feel like it might raise my vibrational frequency. So I wear it like every day. Yeah. Got to wear the bling bling. You guys can get your own bling bling at War Woman Goods on Etsy. Hey. Oh my God. I love this. Okay. But, okay. So let's say like what all could be going on here? Okay. Preparing for Blue Beam. Okay, getting us ready for that. Are we in the thick of it? That's what we said earlier. Are we in the thick of like some kind of blue beam thing? Like we're I don't know. The aliens are coming. They're going to take over the world. Everybody needs to get to the bunkers. Go to the woods. You know, some of us will sit here and fight. Okay, if we have to, and things like that. But is this just another way to like put us in chaos? Okay, I think that's what this is. I mean, so far, it's like all these things to cause chaos have happened, and it caused chaos, but like nothing ever happened out of it, other than
and so they could be test runs too. You know, seeing how the public reacts, see what happens out of those situations. I would imagine, and so now with this. We got to be aware with our devices and the messages we're getting. You know, now we get these Amber Alerts, all these different types of alerts. And so there was a few that were kind of questionable. And actually, I'll get back right to you. I got some guests here.
Okay, come back whenever you can. I'll be over here talking. Okay, all right. Let's talk about this too, because y'all know if you've been following the news, which I don't follow the news too hard, okay, but there has been talks of a UFO mothership. Have y'all heard about this? UFO mothership, the CIA actually. This is wild because this was reported on NBC Nightly News. It was actually the Pentagon. Excuse me, I stand corrected. NBC Nightly News reported the Pentagon and a Harvard scientist put out a draft report of a UFO mothership hovering over Earth. Have they released a bunch of probes? I think that was back when the probes were real popular, all those little orbs were all over the place. And I don't know. Is all this connected? I don't know. What do y'all think? I think a lot of this is all connected. It just seems like there's one thing after another that they're kind of putting out to the public. Dare we call it a slow disclosure leak? I don't know. Maybe. But they were saying, have we already seen large ships throughout the habitable zone in the sun? That's what I wrote down, that they were talking about on that nightly news report that I watched. And I was thinking, well, they said that this ship is near the sun, and the sun is a portal. Okay, I believe the sun is a portal. When Barry gave me that remote viewing target of the Earth's weaponized natural portals, I immediately was around the sun as a portal. Okay, so I think this a portal could be. But I don't know. Okay. Let's get into this 1977 Southern television broadcast. I would like to tell the audience what that person said, whose voice came over. Okay, and so this happened in 1977, November 26, 1977. Unsuspecting viewers in England who turned into nightly news, a new show, and they had an interruption. Now I think I have a picture of like part of this broadcast if you guys want to see this. If I uploaded it, y'all, I swear to goodness. Yeah, it didn't get uploaded, just like half my pictures never get uploaded. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, so just on a Saturday evening, nobody that worked at this radio, this news station had any prior knowledge of this, that this was going to happen whatsoever. And all of a sudden, this man was talking about a war in Africa. I don't know if it was Uganda or somewhere. There was some kind of war going, Rhodesia, I think is what it was. There's a war going on, guerrilla fighting, and he was talking about it. All of a sudden, the screen starts to break up. Okay, like old school TV screens. Okay, like the big box ones that weigh a whole lot. Okay, the square TVs. During the broadcast, Vrillon warned his unassuming audience of the dangers humans were getting themselves into by using weapons of mass destruction. He also confirmed the UFO phenomenon in his race's presence, seen as lights in the skies. He warned humanity to be wary of false prophets and the evils of money before imploring his audience to live in harmony and put down the weapons, just like you said earlier. And so, you know what this made me think of too is like, I hate to say this, but like the Georgia Guidestones. You know how they're trying to warn. I don't know if they're warning humanity, but it was more like, this is what you do when the earth, when the apocalypse happens and you have to rebuild. You know, keep the population below 500 million. Be not a cancer upon this earth. It was almost like the 10 Commandments of the Illuminati. That's what that was. That's what it felt like. But this right here is more positive.
Maybe we should
be not a cancer on the earth.
Those guidelines. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's odd. I mean, I actually took a trip and I went to the Georgia Guidestones. I was there about the month of or the month after that they got it, demolished.
I remember you mentioning that. I remember when all that happened. Yeah, very weird and trip out. And I really like that you're putting Georgia on the map. I've gotten to drive through once, and let me tell you, I got vibes. I really like that. I want to go back and explore, but at the time I was driving across country, but I definitely felt some sort of connection to Georgia, actually. So yeah, and it's super cool that you're bringing all this stuff up from there. And yeah, I'm definitely on my list to visit. Maybe I'll go visit you, Jessica.
I mean, I will take you all over the state, man.
All right.
We have Bigfoot spots and Dogman spots all over here and Alabama and Tennessee. Just plan to spend a couple of weeks here, okay? And I'll take you all over the place. Yeah, Georgia is a place of high strangeness, big time.
I believe it.
Big time. Okay. Well, let me just read some of what this Ashtar Command guy said. Okay. And so he goes, this is, and I say he, because I think it was a man's voice. He said, this is the voice of the Vrillon, a representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command speaking for you. For many years, you have seen us as lights in the skies. We speak to you now in peace and wisdom, as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over your planet. We come to warn you of the destiny of your race and your world so that you may communicate to your fellow beings the course you must take to avoid the disaster which threatens your world and beings. on our worlds around you. I mean, this is kind of weird. It's almost like a war of the worlds starting out here. And you got to think, like, back then, everybody was watching TV broadcasts. Everybody watched the news back in the 1970s. I mean, I remember watching the news every day when I was a kid.
Yep.
They go, this is in order that you may share in the Great Awakening. Okay. Ain't that wild? Because the Great Awakening is like a big thing we've been talking about for the past, like, I'm going to say 10 years now, for the most part. And I know other people have been talking about it for a while, but like there is a Great Awakening happening right now. It says, as the planet passes into the new age of Aquarius, the new age can be the time of great peace and evolution for your race, but only if your rulers are made aware of the evil forces that can overshadow their judgments. But be still now and listen, for your chance may not come again. All your weapons of evil must be removed. The time for conflict is now past. Now the time for conflict is now past, and the race of which you are a part may proceed to the higher stages of evolution if you show yourselves worthy to do this. You have but a short time to learn to live together in peace and goodwill. Small groups all over the planet are learning this and exist to pass on the light of the dawning new age to you all. You are free to accept or reject their teachings, but only those who learn to live in peace will pass the higher realms to the higher realms of spiritual evolution. Hear now the voice of Vrillon, the representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. Be aware also there are many false prophets and guides operating in your world. They will suck your energy from you. Oh God, isn't that the truth? And the energy you call money will put it to evil ends and give you worthless dross in return. Your inner divine self will protect you from this. You must learn to be sensitive to the voice within you that can tell you what is truth and what is confusion, chaos, and untruth. Learn to listen to the voice of truth, which is within you, and you will lead yourselves into the path of evolution. This is our message to our dear friends. We have watched you growing for many years, as you too have watched our lights in your skies. Hold on, there's more. You know, that's like someone was asking, like, how do we know to trust that broadcast? And I was like, well, because you have to go within. Like, this is where your intuition kicks in, right? You know now that we are here, and there are more beings on and around your Earth than your scientists admit. We are deeply concerned about you and your path towards the light, and we do and will do all we can to help you. Have no fear. Seek only to know yourselves and live in harmony with the ways of your planet Earth. We of the Ashtar Galactic Command thank you for your attention. We are now leaving the plane of your existence. May you be blessed by the supreme love and truth of the cosmos. Man, I actually kind of got goosebumps when I was reading that. Okay, because I'm not saying it's the same message that I got when I was remote viewing those orbs over the crop circles that were supposed to be like giving good messages to humanity, but it was similar to that. It was the same vibe. Okay, it was like, you know, we know you're tired. Thank you for your teamwork. We know you're tired. You don't want to be here, but we're here to keep going.
And I don't think our government would be in on sending us a message like that.
No.
Yeah,
No.
so I don't know. There's something different there, I think,
right.
and it's very possible that it could be ETs. Why not? You know.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Because it was in the UK, so I'm wondering what weapons exactly. I could imagine them saying that here in the US, like, yeah, put the weapons down.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm sure UK's got their artillery and all that. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know. Why wouldn't they relay that message to the ones that are governing and you know, ruling over us?
Yeah.
Give them the message and then have them relay the message to us.
But they're all corrupt.
Because we can't change those guys.
Yeah, this is 100% my opinion, and this is for entertainment purposes only, but politicians are corrupt. I used to work I worked in politics for 20 years, okay, on a state level, but I worked with federal, you know, Congress people as well. I worked in every level of government, okay? I worked with every level of government for the most part, but I was on state level, okay? But I know we have great politicians that mean well, but let me tell you something. Money corrupts people. Power corrupts people. And when those spaceships are landing in schoolyards to go talk to children, it makes you wonder, you know, I think they obviously, you know, I can speak from knowing someone personally who was a liaison between the aliens and our presidents. His name was Don Ware. I think he's still alive today. I don't know. My mom and him were very good friends, and I used to go to Waffle House with him, not knowing who he was or what he did. We used to just go to Waffle House after Mr. Sam's house on Wednesday nights. That's the meetup group where I met my Bigfoot team. He would come to that. He's a good friend of a bunch of my friends, and he was a liaison between the ETs and our president. And so, anyways, if anybody knows Don, y'all let me know where he's at right now. I think he lives in, I don't know where. I'm not gonna give his information away. But anyways, Don O'Dwyer.
That did come to mind is the school landings. There's been a few of them, right? And I know two. I think two well-known ones.
Zimbabwe.
What is it? The Zimbabwe, and then was there one in Australia also?
There's a bunch of them actually. Preston Dennett wrote a book on it.
Okay. And I know Preston Dennett is well versed on my whole area here, LA. He's done a lot of Topanga Canyon. He's well versed in the area here. I'd love to pick his brain. There was something else that came to. And then also out here, Kern County is where supposedly President Eisenhower that had the meeting with the ETs at a military base here. I think it might be what's the name of the base? Somebody in chat knows the name of the base. It's right here, Kern County.
Yes.
And he supposedly had that meeting here with the ETs. And so that comes to mind as well. And all the other cases where there's been ETs and government officials supposedly making deals, having conversations and stuff.
Yeah,
that's made me wonder at first. When I first heard that too, I was like, oh, come on. But I've gotten into it a little more, and it's just like, whoa, wow, yeah. And it's Kern County right here. So
that's right where you are. Oh, and that's where all this high strangeness is happening.
Oh, yeah. There's military presence. There's, everything, desert. Area 51, I'm sure, is not too far from there. You just got to go over to the Nevada side of things. And it's just it's a trip.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Boogers. He said
Edwards Air Force. Yes.
There we go.
I didn't mean to take that off the screen so fast. My fingers.
No, I got
my computer, my fingers don't mix very well. But this is lots of high strangeness out there. Who would have ever thunk it? Out in, what was it, under Eisenhower, I'm friends with Laura, his great granddaughter. I'm about to see her again in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from yesterday. Right on. I'll be down in Florida with her. Okay.
You know what? I have seen her making the rounds. I think a few of our friends have interviewed her, and I think I seen you had an interview with her.
I did. Yeah. I was on her show.
I think that's where I may have seen that too. Yeah. She's hip to the hop too, and
she's big time, man. She is very much in the disclosure movement. Very much. I cannot wait to hang out. She's really fun to hang out with too, and so that's her great grandfather was Dwight D. Eisenhower. And, there's a point, I need to bring her on the show. Actually, I'm going to see, she said she'd come on my show. I don't know. I guess we just all got busy. Okay. But I'll ask her, I'll have Laura on the show, y'all. Okay. I promise I'll ask her to come on. But there's a time where, there was a pact made, from what some people say, a pact made to exchange humans for experimentation with, for alien technology and stuff too. So there's that whole aspect of, I don't know, they were working with our presidents. They were working with whatever organizations are, making those decisions for us on behalf of all of humanity, which is messed up. Okay. But whatever, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's for science, right? Whatever. They got to pass down that stuff for Lockheed Martin and make all these booms over here in Georgia. But anyways, it's all connected, y'all, and I think it's really, really wild that all this is going on in our world today. And someone in the chat had just said, that happened in 1977. However, here it is. Amy, thank you, Amy. Maybe the message was broadcast in 77, but meant for us now. The glitch in last week's Georgia TVs remind us of 77. We just bombed Iran, verge of World War III. In that sense, the 77 message was real relevant today. And that's true. There's a reason. There's no coincidences in this world. I'm sure of it. And like I said, you and I, Bigfoot Dwarf, about to call you Brown Dwarf, we like to connect the dots and put it out there to the public, and just to talk about it, start a conversation about it. And we're called to do that. I'm just called to do it. I don't know why I do what I do, y'all, but I do it. Okay. And I think that's really cool that we've had this conversation today.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, I didn't have no idea how this was gonna go. I was
Me
just like,
neither.
all right, let me try and remember some of this stuff. Let me dive in really quick, recap on some things that I remember. Found a couple other things, and I'm glad I was able to come through and share it with you all. And yeah, we got to keep kicking the ball around, and yeah, watching our backs. And yeah, thank you, Jessica. This was
Keep
fun.
your eyes in the skies. Oh no,
Yeah.
Thank you. Listen, this was last minute. I know LIB was in the chat. And he was like, "Well, you got more than 3 minutes of a notice." I usually call him last minute. I'm like, "Come on,
Oh
got
yeah,
5 minutes before the show starts. Come join
but
me."
he's good at that.
He is. He
He
is.
could pull it off.
He's awesome. I know, but that was fun. I caught you last night, and we made it happen today. I'm so grateful for that, and thank you for taking the time out. I know you're at work.
Anytime.
I love watching your live broadcast at work, and you're a DJ too. So
Yeah,
I
I've been
love that.
messing around with the turntables a little more now, getting my studio here streaming and music and so yeah, been touching on some Bigfoot reports that we've been finding online and stuff like that, and just getting the ball rolling over here. Later today, there's some more Northern California reports that were submitted to that website, so I'll probably touch on that and maybe touch on a few current events that are happening here, like that explosion and stuff like that. And who knows, we might catch a speed chase. Speed chases are very
Yeah.
common. We've been featuring those on the channel. Sometimes that'll start the stream, and we just stay aware and have a little fun also, because we do need to have a little fun while we're doing all this.
Who doesn't love a good GTA LA version? I'm just saying. I love it. I tune in. I mean, because there's pretty much a car chase every day.
Oh yeah.
A high-speed car chase, and you are broadcasting live, and it is so fun. It's actually really fun.
And there's some guys that are really good at it out here. And of course, safety first. We got to be aware of what's happening around us. But yeah, no, we stay plugged into the streets, and whether it's online, offline, yeah, we're the ears and the eyes on the streets. And so, anytime we hear any information, anything happening, we bring it back to y'all, and we appreciate everyone's support out there. And so yeah, come hang out later. We'll probably go live in a little while, and you usually tap in, Jessica. I always appreciate you stopping by as well. And we're here anytime, you need a guest or whatever it may be. You need to go cast some tracks or something, or need me to look at some hair samples, or hit me up.
Hit him
I'll
up.
do the best I could.
And you're running a whole skate shop out of there too. So tell everybody what the skate shop is. Do some advertising.
Yeah. So we're staying busy, keeping it rolling, and doing what we could while we can.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, y'all go check out his shop. Please go subscribe over to Bigfoot Dwarf on YouTube. You can also find him at Brown Dwarf on YouTube as well. It depends on what the handle is. But it's easier to find you as Bigfoot Dwarf on YouTube, actually, because Brown Dwarf you had to dig through to find your channel there.
Yeah, so. And then you got the handle right earlier. So the handle is when you put the @ and then it'll have the name, sometimes numbers. So @Brown Dwarf 4200, like you said earlier, works. And then yeah, if you look up Bigfoot Dwarf, it should pop up too. So.
Perfect. Well, I love swinging by anytime you're in the chat. You have a wonderful chat room, and so many wonderful people in there. And some of those folks are in our chat right here at this moment. So what's up, everybody? And so yeah, please keep us posted on all the LA happenings and everything you got going on. I want to bring you back on to talk about Bigfoot again too, and some of your adventures up there in the mountains of Northern California and everywhere you go, and in Oregon.
Yeah, this is going to be but probably one of the bigger ones. So stay tuned. And as soon as I get back, we could link up, Jessica, and talk about if I make it back.
Yes. You'll make it back.
Peace, y'all. I have special guests too. I see my lovely sister and my nephew. They dropped by. So much love to them. They're heading out.
Tell them the Cryptid Huntress and crew says hey. Okay.
Hey, they said the crew, Cryptid Huntress and the crew said hey.
What's up? And thank you for being here today, man. That's so cool. You guys also go follow Bigfoot Dwarf on TikTok, y'all. And are you still posting on TikTok as well?
I posted a few new things. I've been focusing more on the YouTube, but yeah, there's a bunch of links on the channel there to all the other platforms and stuff, and I'm easy to reach. So yeah, come hang out, and yeah, much love, Jessica, and everybody out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bigfoot Dwarf. All right, we'll see you next time, and you guys please come back and see me tomorrow night. I was given the target of some kind of gigantic object that's hovering over Earth right now. Okay, and so we may talk about that one tomorrow night. I don't know, I haven't decided if we're going to make that one public yet, but we might, especially after this conversation today. I think it'd be perfect. So come back and see me 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, y'all, tomorrow night. Again, thanks, Bigfoot Dwarf, for being here today. And you guys stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Always keep looking up. And yes, go ahead and pick out what your warlord name will be if you have to go take control of your communities during the apocalypse. Hopefully it's not going to happen, though. I'm just kidding, y'all. Everybody have a wonderful day, and don't live in fear, y'all. You know, we're only here for a short while. Let's have fun, okay? And take care, Bigfoot Dwarf. We'll see you soon. All right, bye, y'all. Have a great day.